and start to talk about this first post that you put up somewhat recently around some of the things that are happening.
I posted this a week ago about a number of problems we're facing with the spot product. Last week, when the market was very, very volatile, our spot product didn't work well. It was actually a major problem. And the reason it didn't work well was actually because we had tried to automate a lot of stuff. Because our goal here is that we want to make it as easy as possible, right? Best product, best price, best UX. In the process of automating and also saving the gas for the users, we kind of configured the mean gas to be a bit too low. And also there were some miscalculations about the gas thing. They didn't really show up until the congestion period. And a lot of users had issues for like maybe a day or something, and then they were extremely frustrated. This is an example of where experimentation is good, but we might actually end up having some problems. This is something I feel extremely bad about. And so we are working on improving monitoring, improving better heuristics, and also more modes. But I just want to be very clear on something that we fucked up on this front, and I'm very grateful for everyone for being understanding, and we'll try to improve it. We also have a free code API that we provide for the ecosystem. It's actually a really important API because practically everyone that starts coding in Solana, the first thing they use is the API, because we actually maintain enormous amounts of effort, not just in terms of the API itself, but also in all the supporting infrastructure on the API. But unfortunately, what happens, right, is that some people abuse it because it's so easy to spin up a new server these days. What they do is that they spin out like 20 servers. We want to provide this API, but sometimes it gets abused to the point that it degrades our main service. I'm not making any excuses here for things that do not working so well. I just want to be clear that we do actually are cognizant that we might be overstretched. We might have experimented too much sometimes, but we are figuring out and we're actually trying to improve it.
Can you talk about like some of the testing behind Jupiter and like why this wasn't caught? I appreciate that obviously the volatility and the congestion are somewhat new, but we had volatility and congestion back in March, and Jupiter kind of like dealt with it there. Was there something unique here that escaped the testing, or how did we end up in this kind of situation, you think?
Great question. There basically is a large number of APIs, large number of which can derive the optimum gas. Also, optimum gas on Solana is also a much more complicated topic because Solana is not like Ethereum. There's a global gas on Ethereum. On Solana, the gas is like specific to the markets you use and you're touching. Furthermore, there really isn't a locked-in science on how to do that right now. And so what happened was we had a certain bug in how we calculate the gas. I think it scaled our attention simply because it was hard to simulate the congestion conditions that would have caught it. But again, I think that will actually be totally catchable. So we should really have like put our attention to it.
And so then going forward, I presumably there's like some folks who are focused more on testing going forward for like these extreme conditions.
It's still very hard to test, but so far I think we're doing a pretty good job there. The most important thing actually is monitoring. Just monitoring the transaction that go on. If there's a big dip in transaction success, obviously you can say more testing, but the most important thing actually is around the transaction monitoring. If congestion on our website tends to fail a lot, then I think we need to just do something about it.